All right. Good?
Good.
Everybody, welcome back to Offshore Live. I know it's been a while. This is number 20. Got some of my brothers back here from JSBR, Anthony Gandolfo and Matt Mason. What's up, brother?
Yo,
What's going
what up,
on, man?
Going
How
on?
are you?
Good to see you boys.
Yeah, likewise.
Although I think I see you more than any of my people.
Probably, yeah. I mean, we do all hang out a lot, kind of.
That's it.
That's it.
So I heard you guys are just getting back from a booze cruise.
Yeah,
You can call it that if you
a
want.
little more than that.
I heard there was some stolen golf carts. The city of Key West will never be the
I
same.
don't know if we
Don't
should talk
know
about
what
that.
you're talking about, but sure. Borrowed. They're borrowed.
Yeah.
I got
We
you,
get-
I got
mean,
you.
we left them there, so were they technically stolen?
Well, that's all right. It's just borrowing them.
Yeah, that's
Nah,
it.
I like that. I like that. So last time we seen you boys, this is what are we, 6 months out from Moorhead? It's about 6
Close.
months.
Close,
Going
yeah.
on 6, yeah.
So last time we seen you had a boat that looked like it went through a wood chipper. But
Yes.
word on the street is you boys will be back for this season. So talk to me. What's up?
We should be back. You wanna chime in on that?
We got something up our sleeve.
Yeah?
Yeah. We're working on something here.
Staying 358, going 350, super stock. Talk to me.
We got a motor for every class, so
Attaboy.
It depends on how we feel.
Yeah.
Attaboy. I like
See
that.
how we
We
feel.
gotta keep it mysterious.
Who you going after? You got to have somebody you want.
All of them.
Nah. Yeah, all of them.
We're going after everybody.
If we pop a motor in one class, we'll go to the other class.
Well, what we got?
Matt, can you just straighten your mic out a little bit? Perfect. Yeah, you see how Boomer's kind of like talking right into it?
Yeah.
That's how it'll, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
She'll yell at us 10 more times.
Yep.
Don't worry.
Yeah. It's fine.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
So I've been looking through, seeing race sites and towns and who wants us and whatnot. And, last time we did one of these, I had Nick and Pomnitz in here.
Yep.
And at that time,
Yeah,
I
good
was
one.
I was still a sponsor. And you fuckers now got me dragged all the way into vice president here. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man.
Well, we're glad
We
to
need
have you
you.
there. We do
So-
need you.
So it's good. It's, since I've been involved, I learned a lot. I didn't know anything. Last podcast we did here actually was the last one, Pomnitz and Nick.
Yeah.
So the last one was Pomnitz and Nick. I haven't done one since then. So it'd be kind of funny. You can go one podcast back and see how little I knew. Didn't even know what a Garvey, did know a Garvey from a skiff. So it's cool now being involved and understanding the classes and the people and the different kinds of boats and, being around, spending a year with you. It's not what I thought. Like going into this, you can go watch the Offshore Live 19 and see what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is, it's when I was younger, I was going to your races and checking out your sport and, just because it was like home away from home for me. And it just kind of got to the point where it was old boats falling apart, pickup trucks wouldn't run to go get them at the ramp. And, and it was cool, but it wasn't clean. It wasn't put together and packaged. It was boats running. You couldn't understand what class was who or who was racing who.
Yeah, the fans didn't know nothing.
I got to say, this year, and really, I had minimal involvement. I coached Nick here and there, just pushed him around into better areas and whatnot. But mostly, I was a photographer for you guys this year and got to just sit and watch. And that was the most fun, just, getting to know what was going on.
Yeah, no, watching it is a lot of fun. Just being as a spectator. I mean, we didn't race our second to last race, but just watching it, being there, and just seeing everybody having a good time, everybody's smiles on their face.
Yeah, it's all about having a good time.
Yeah,
It's funny how that's the same. Like, you guys come hang out with us in, like, Point Pleasant and stuff. You see
Yeah,
what it's
man.
about, And it's in my guys ask me all the time, like, what. Some of them are breaking my balls. Some of them are just curious. But, like, what are you doing down there at the Jersey Shore? And I'm like, I just dig this. I really think, like, for offshore, dollars and cents wise, to bring offshore in, any one of our promoters could tell you it's a nightmare. It's, it's $500,000. It's, just for one race, just to pay this person and this sea turtle person and the overtime for cops. And it all starts adding up, right? This is like a turnkey package at like $4 or $5 grand an event.
Yeah, man.
And to me, the fun
and
factor's
it's
all
just-
there.
It's all there. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
just as fun. It's exciting. It's everything.
no bullshit. I've been
Yeah.
doing this, and when my first boat race was 6 months old in Key West in 1994. So I've literally my whole life been watching boat races, competing in boat races, and hanging around with you guys. Where it really got me was Championship Day, and when there was all those Garveys lined up, going at it and wound up, and
Yeah.
for the fans at home that have never seen this, it's open tractor headers, it's small blocks with no rev limiters, it's propellers that are this big, and it's all the real deal of offshore, just packed up in a tiny race course. And there's no difference between going into turn one in one of your boats and going into turn one in one of our boats. So you guys run a Garvey for everybody at home, the Fighting Lady. And what's that like? 358, big motors, big competition. Talk to me.
It's fun. It's fast. It's loud. It's exhilarating. It's
Basically a sheet of plywood with 400 plus horsepower.
It's
Right.
something that you can't even explain to someone without actually just being in the boat.
The G forces you get when you set the plate down and come into, especially first turn.
I actually almost cried the first time I drove the thing. I was like, we fucking raced this thing. After I got out of driving, I was like, it just
Everything about
sheer
it is so
excitement.
right and so wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a thrill.
Well, I did it one time in the boat. Actually, now it's John Bavacqua's Joke's on You. But back then it was too extreme. It was the Yag Yellows boats. And they stuck me in it in Patchogue, Long Island. And I went probably about a lap and 3/4. And I think it took the distributor gear out. I was never so happy for a boat race to be over.
you just smile ear to ear. It's like
Well, for me, it was different. I couldn't wait to get back to land. You know, I just wanted to kiss the ground and make sure it was real. You know, I've been doing offshore my whole life, whether it was actually racing or just in boats, right? And I could tell you the amount of times I've been legitimately afraid, I can count on one hand. It doesn't, like, that doesn't get me. The big boats, I'm more in tune with what's happening around me and what I need to be doing as far as my job. I forget about all the dangerous part of it, right?
Yeah.
Getting in a Garvey, and, like, especially you riding, where you don't have a wheel, you don't have a throttle.
I'm holding on and
Praying I don't fuck up.
I trust this guy with my life. That's it.
Well, and it's a wild gig, man. It really is, because I'm hard to really get unnerved. You know, I kind of been through it all, and I was scared enough to jump out of one. I was going to jump out if it didn't shut off. You know, I was going to say I flew out. You know,
I mean, if it doesn't shut off, then you're just holding on.
I just think what's cool about it is, from the outside looking in, you would never believe that those boats can do what they do.
Yeah, it's amazing. You got to really get in one to see what it's about.
The way they track.
Looking from shore is definitely a thrill, but when you get behind that, you got open headers in your face. It's, straight pipe. It's loud. You know, these things are making compression, making RPM, spinning 7,000, 7,500, some 8,000, and that thing is just singing in front of you, and you just feel raw horsepower.
It's more like we always say, I feel like I'm a part of the boat. For you guys, you really are a part of the boat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I can feel every time, everything that when the water changes, when he turns the steering wheel, I feel it. Actually, I feel it in my ass.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down, so I'm planted, but I feel everything as a passenger.
Watch him go into a turn, and you would think it's a flat bottom. So you would think it's 65, 70, whatever you're going in a turn at. You would think it would just high side. There's no way it would stay and run, and they do. They glue themselves down and run.
It itself. It hugs that corner. It's nuts. It's something that you can't explain.
So now you guys just spent a year running, and that was in the Fighting Lady, which is a pretty notorious boat. It's been around a long time,
It's
right?
been around.
She's
I don't even know how
fighting
old that
for long.
boat is, but I would say it's got to be 30, 40 years old.
Didn't Steve-O race it at some point? Steve Adams?
I'm going to say yes. I'm pretty sure he did.
I'm pretty sure it was his at some point. That boat's been around a long
It's
time.
been around. Yeah, no, it's got a history, that's for sure.
So walk me through your year one. You guys are both rookies, right?
So
Yeah,
this
we're,
is
we're
our
still new to
we're
this.
still
We're
pretty
still
new,
learning.
Yeah.
This is actually technically our second season. Our first season was kind of, It was all right. We got out there. We ran a few times. Nothing
was fun.
crazy. It was
Got our
fun.
feet wet.
You know, he got to really feel what the boat was like. Learned a lot from it.
And then we popped the motor.
Yeah.
And then a week later, we came back out with another motor in it just because something about it. It's just awesome.
Well, so I'll stop you there. Talk to me a little bit about the motor. So it's a 358, right?
The boat was a 358 boat. Yeah, so it's basically a small block Chevy, 40 over, Vortec heads. Nothing fancy in there, just flat tappet cam, single plane intake, 750 carb, straight exhaust. It had a V drive in it. You could change the percentage of the gears in the V drive, and I mean, every time we're out there, we're always trying something new, different props, playing with jets and a carburetor, adding a little timing, pulling timing, seeing what the boat liked.
Well, I want to get into props, but before we move on from motor, so in the 358 class, that was Vortec heads.
Yes, Vortec head.
And I know we have a different set of rules going into this
There's a
year,
whole
but
different
that's
set
what
of
you were
rules
on.
now. Yeah,
So-
definitely big changes.
Because this is, to me, this is the most important part. And I think it's because I'm so hardened by offshore in that things are, for instance, today, we just got a pail of gear oil for the new Mercury gear oil, the 90 weight you put in the stern drives, right?
Yeah.
It's $800 for a
Yeah.
5-gallon pail. You know, like, I just lose track anymore. Like, things are, I mean, we don't have an option. Like, we're going to go boat racing one way or another. Whatever it costs, whatever
is
I
what it
got to
is.
do, we're going to get there, right? So I just set that expensive factor over to the side, right? And then when I started hanging out with you guys, I started realizing you can have the same amount of fun on a budget. Like, really, that motor you just described, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can put that together for
Yeah.
If you've got the
For
knowledge,
Basic small block Chevy. You get everything right out of the Summit magazine, basically.
right.
Put it
Or out of
together
a
in a
junkyard.
garage.
Yeah, or a junkyard.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, like, and it's not a slight. It's actually like your biggest upside is somebody can try this. Like in offshore, I do these
yeah.
podcasts and I have guys all the time. Listen, if you're listening to this at home, buy a boat, come out, try it. Go ahead, try it. It's like $200,000 to try it. You know what I mean? And then you get there and you're like, man, I don't like this. This is crazy. And then what? You're upside down. This you're not going to get hurt. You know, if you find a turnkey boat and buy it today, it's worth that same number tomorrow, as long as you don't
Oh yeah.
try and blow it in a million pieces.
Yeah.
I also forgot to tell you at the top of the show. I forgot to tell you at the top of the show that our special guest today is Jack and Rose from the Titanic.
Oh, man.
And I will tell you that these boys will never let go. Ever.
I wish I could pull that photo up really quick. I wish I knew we were talking about
That's
this.
the magic of editing. Check it out. Like in the
Oh,
show,
I can pull it up then.
you see this right here? Let me get my hand straight. That's where your picture's going to be. Right there, just floating in midair.
That's
I'm gonna
awesome.
find this photo now.
I had, so...
do you have it?
No, but you'll send it to me and I'll put it in after.
Yeah, I'll find it.
But so for people at home listening, we brought the Garvey and Skiff guys down to Morehead City with us September 8th through the 10th last year. And
Out of this world.
we went down with, what did we have, 6 or 7 or 8?
There was 7 of us at that?
7, I think.
7. And out of 7, I think 3 made it home.
Making it home was even another story.
These guys, they're used to salt water. They're used to bump. They're used to, they're not, pussies. But at the same time, these are flat bottom boats. They're older boats. And I don't think you even made it to the race course, right?
We got out there.
we got there. We didn't go around, but
We
we
didn't even
got
start
there.
racing yet. Well, we had bottom problems for half of the summer, half of the season out there, always repairing it. Cracks kept showing up. We put a whole new bottom on the boat to race in Morehead.
Guess I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, it's not that. The boat, the stringers were a little wet in it. The bottom was wet. We tried to repair it the best we could, and it was good. We took it out, tested it. It was fine. We got to Morehead City, North Carolina, getting out there for the big old race. And, we're out there getting on plane. And, I don't know, we're probably doing about 50 miles an hour, and that bottom just ripped right off. That boat went from 50 to 0 in 10 feet.
Yeah.
And it sunk in about 20 seconds.
20 long seconds.
It was very long. Actually, a lot of stuff happened in those 20 seconds.
I sunk too.
You
You did too. Well, both of us did.
We
went down with that
We were
unit.
getting yelled at by people. Get off the boat. Get on the boat. Our seats were floating away. He was chasing the seats.
We had a
I
smile
tried to-
on our face.
I tried
the
to
whole
ride
time.
it down. I wasn't happy or sad or I was just like, just it is what it is.
The crazy part was when I knew that the bottom came off and the boat's going down. I'm trying to
Well,
visualize
we
what I'm
didn't
gonna
know
do.
first.
I'm reaching for everything, and she's taking on water pretty good. And that water, you see it come over the side of the boat, slowly pour into the carburetor, and as she's going down, you see it pour into the exhaust stacks, and that's when you know she was just bobbing out there.
We did get it back.
Did.
We did get it back. Not much left of it.
Paper mache.
But you weren't the only one.
No, there's a couple other guys out there.
The boys got a kick out of Shanky screwing the plywood to the side of his to get it home and letting everybody sign it. And,
Oh, that was a blast.
And who else made it out of there alive? Well, John made it out with nothing more than a broken strut and a bent shaft.
Yep.
Which was lucky, which everybody's seen that. Offshore, inshore, onshore, whatever the hell you do, you've seen that one. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good shot, man. But I want to back up. We were talking about the motor, and I said, I wanted to stop you on propellers.
Okay.
So explain. So imagine 99% of the people that watch this show have no idea what a Garvey is. So, like, your propellers are 2-blade?
They're 2-blade. There's guys that run 3 blades out there, but it's 2 blades more common.
On Garveys?
On the Garveys.
On Garveys.
Really?
There's skiffs out there.
I knew the skiffs.
There's
some
an
guys
SK
played
boat
with
out
3.
there that's been playing with different props, 3-blade props too. But there's skiffs out there that run 2 and 3 blades also.
Now, is it similar to a standard propeller in that, up in pitch is more top speed, down in pitch is more acceleration?
It's all the same.
Right. And then do you guys know prop slip numbers, anything like that? Or
Not
it's hard
really.
to tell without gear ratio?
Not really.
Yeah.
So, because what I think is cool is, what amazed me is I didn't expect to see a 2-bladed prop under the boat.
You see this little tiny thing under there, and you see how fast the boats are moving.
These things aren't stainless steel; they're made out of steel. So as soon as you get that boat out of the water, you got to pull that prop off or put some oil or grease or something on it because it flashes fast.
Yeah.
It'll get rusty and.
Well, so I've been kicking around building my own skiff, and I've been banging around on parts and figuring out where I'm going to get all the shit from. And so I got the props, and so I'm looking around at props, and all of a sudden it dawned on me, like DeWalt, who is a major brand in our industry, also makes most of the tunnel boat propellers and 2-bladed propellers for a lot of the APBA skiff and ski boats and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see, like, for me, getting into this, I just assumed this was, guys all made their own stuff, built their own stuff. And it's kind of cool to see there's some big players that are still involved, like DeWalt.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool, and like for me, I crawled under the boat, and the first time I seen one, it looks like, like 10 years ago, it was cool. Everybody had the little thing that went in the receiver on your trailer hitch with the little propeller.
Oh, yeah, driving down the road.
You know what I'm talking about?
Spinning,
And it had that little one. And I'm looking, and I'm like, is that what they put
that
on
what
there?
that
Like,
is?
as a joke? Like, I thought it was like a joke. And because I really would have never thought something could move like that on that little wheel. It's insane. And keep push.
It blew my mind the first time I saw it, too. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then you could hear it when the skiffs run. You get that
Oh, yeah.
hopping down the straightaway. Man, it's cool as shit. It really is. And for this year, I think we got, 8 or 9 races on the schedule right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so far.
So we
So
got
far.
a good one coming up. I mean,
I think this is going to be a great season for
gonna be
everybody.
awesome.
and new boats. That's the crazy thing. I thought we found all the Garveys.
And there's still so many boats that are hidden in garages that guys are just waiting for us to
Yeah, once
get
this
out
thing
there and
kicks
really see
off,
what's
I
really
think.
kicking off and what's happening.
Yeah.
And you're going to see guys come out of the woodworks and
I didn't think there was that many of them left. And there's just every week
they're
there's
hard
more
to find,
guys.
but they're out there.
Yeah. So, going back to last year, if you literally watched the podcast before this one, you could see me and Nick are talking about we might have 6 or 7 boats. We might have 4 or 5 races.
What are we up to now? 19, 18 boats?
We had over 20 boats registered through the season. Not all at one race, but I think we did get over 20 at one of them.
At one of them, yeah. I think we had those 2 jet ski boats that came
Yeah, the
through,
APBA ski boats.
Yeah,
And from there, the plan was we were going to run Tuckerton and Parkertown, and if that went well, we'd do it again. Run Tuckerton and Parkertown again. And for those of you listening, it's a local. Everything's local. Everything's within an hour or two. The furthest we're going to go this year is Lake Apacon. Which is going to be really cool. September 8th through the 10th there. We're working on getting some of the other boats that are in that area to come out. Some of the tunnels, some of the hydros and skiffs and APBA gang, trying to get them to come race with us. And I think we got a good. I think we have a good iron in the fire with JSBR because if you look around the racing scene, there's no entity that's really claimed the top spot. There's, like APBA likes to think they have. They also think they have an offshore. But they really don't. They have no footing. And really the biggest league is that HRL out of Canada, which really, if you look at what HRL's providing and why it's taken off, it's nothing different than what we're doing. They're giving them live stream, a little bit of travel money, and that's it. And, we're kind of on the same platform. We just haven't grown big enough to get into the prize checks and stuff like that yet, but we're going. And I think this is just me thinking. I think within 5 years, you guys could rival OPA. I really do. I think if this stays the course, right, you got guys like Christian with Battle Wagon Boats that's buying up molds,
Awesome guy.
starting to build new boats for you guys. And is there a place to go buy a new Garvey?
It's Christian right now.
I think he has
He's
molds
the
and he
guy.
wants to get them out there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, is there anybody doing it? I mean,
I'm
there's
sure there's still some other molds out there too,
but no
like,
companies.
no
No.
companies, no, not that I'm aware of.
Right. And now I have no problem with building a boat in your backyard. That's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
That's what we do. Everything you see here.
Everything we do.
You know. So it's not a slight, but it's good to have somebody like Christian that can stand behind the product. You know, like it's if I come see you and I say build me a Garvey and that Garvey breaks the first time I go out and run it, what am I going to do? Come back and
Yeah.
see you?
You know, you
like,
got the taillight warranty on that one.
it's not, you know, it was out the driveway. That warranty's up. Dude,
Yeah.
you know, and like a guy like Christian who will stand behind his work. I don't, you know, a lot of people go back and forth with Christian. And I will always tell you, if you need to know of his work, go find Matt and Joe Lauer and go look at their 21. And then think about the abuse that thing's been through since day one.
Takes some
thing runs,
serious
man.
beating.
Abuse. And those kids are not easy on that
No,
boat.
they're not.
And walk around it. There's not a stress crack. There's not a scratch.
No, we've
There's
seen
nothing.
that boat out in Point Pleasant.
Yeah, and there's some beef in those
Oh,
seats.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, and like I like the guy. I like his work. I like his product, and he stands behind it. And for you guys to have somebody where new people who, you know, there's the old guard, which was the, you know, taking the door hinges off the front door to make engine hatches, and that's cool, right? But then there's the other, you know, half of the population that can't do that. Don't know how to use a screwdriver. They just know how to write checks. That they want to go racing too. And now there's somewhere you can go, write to Christian, write a check, get a boat, brand new, and be racing. It's not 30 years old, 40 years old, and a headache. Like, to me, that's a huge step in
big.
the right direction. And he's building skiffs too. You know, he's got, and I don't know to get into if the molds are good or bad or if the boats were fast or slow. I don't know. I don't know all that. I wasn't around for all that, but
Yeah, it's before our time too.
but to me, I look at these boats and really, I think that one of the other upsides of your sport is it's not equipment based. It's really not. If you look at the guys that are winning, it's the talent in the boat.
Absolutely, I agree.
You know, you can listen. That's the cool thing with you guys is you don't have to watch. You can listen. And you can hear the RPMs. You can hear what guys are doing all the way around a race course. You know, so I know when guys are lifting or when they're sandbagging or when they're, you know, you can hear it. And and so it's cool because to me, like the fast guys didn't stroke a check, buy some power that the rest of us can't afford.
No, they knew a few things and
Or it's just
they made
seat
it
time.
work.
You know, it's
or
just
seat time.
time in the seat. And I think really that's the coolest thing because for me as a racer, there's no bigger kick in the balls than when you go out there and just run against somebody who's got way more money than you. You know, and it's like I know I'm 10 times better than them, but I can't fuck with that. That project
He's
there
got the
is-
money to back him. Yeah.
yeah, you know, and it's just from top to bottom, it's got the best of the best of everything, and their margin for mistake is so small. Beer guy.
Beer guy.
Beer guy.
Beer me.
So there, I mean,
out.
at that level, your margin for mistake is so much smaller than ours. Like if I make a mistake, chances are I'm not catching you. My boat's not that fast. You know, and then you go run against these guys that got 200 grand in the bilge, and it's like, man, this isn't any fun.
I know what you're saying.
You know, like you guys, it's all about the guy sitting in that seat. If you got the balls to really hold that pedal on the floor, and it's really what it's about.
It takes some balls sometimes because it doesn't take much chop to really get these boats bouncing around.
No.
So
I remember the first day we bought the boat together, and
man,
we tried to take it out. Knew nothing about this thing, and it was like 3 foot chop in the bay. We tried to launch as CNC. It was a nightmare, and
Yeah,
we
we
were
didn't have
bouncing
a
all over the
clue.
place. We had no clue. We're like, this fucking thing sucks.
I laugh. I still see some of the rookies coming in, like looking over the bow, trying to see where they're going. I'm like, step on a plate.
Still to play to bring that nose right down.
Yeah, but it's cool, and that's another thing I don't think people understand is your job.
it's amazing that plate.
It's not just driving.
It's all on your feet too, man. It's feel.
Yeah, and you know I think we've explained it a few times, but that plate on the back of the boat is continuous right across. It's on basically a piano hinge,
It's on a hinge.
right, and it's got a couple tie rod looking struts,
Yep,
right,
yep.
and then the whole thing moves in one motion, right.
One motion, but some of them are segmented. You could change the positions of them. Usually the right side's down a little bit further than the left side. So basically the boat is trying to make a left turn
Right.
without turning the wheel, but obviously you got to turn the wheel to go left. But
which for us, I mean, it's no different than trim tabs.
Yep.
But
Yeah, it's
the
basically trim
mechanics
tab.
of it is what makes it cool. I mean, it's all in your foot. It's a mechanical pedal. It's
Yeah.
not a trim pump. It's
Nope.
not, it's mechanical, right? All the way
Yep.
through.
All the way through.
And that's the same all the way through the boat. I mean, even your steering is not
Everything's
cable
mechanical.
steering like we're used to. I mean, that's cable and pulley steering.
cable and
right?
pulley. Just a couple guys that have hydraulic cylinders
Right.
with a hydraulic helm. But personally,
Takes the fun
I'd
out
never
of it.
driven
Take,
one
I'd rather
of
takes
those.
the fun out of it.
I'd rather have the cable
But
and pulleys.
you
You
feel
feel
a
the
lot
boat.
more
Yeah.
with a cable and a pulley system.
Well, and your reaction is so much faster.
Oh, for sure.
It's so much faster. I mean, the only thing that's sketchy is all the mechanical stuff that can fail. But that's anything.
That's everything.
That's anything you do.
Everything
I mean, that's
and
getting on a
That's
bus.
why we
you
nut
know?
and bolt these things every race, man.
Yeah.
And we got all safety and tech guys and everything to check this stuff over.
So
before every race,
when they're doing tech, they're going over your rudders, your steering.
they're checking a lot of that. Yeah.
So it's more than just your standard. You have the right helmets, you have the right jackets. They're actually looking through your
That's
boat.
like more of the safety part. And I actually, last season, I was a part of that. And I was checking all the safety stuff. There's actually another guy who goes around and he checks all the mechanical part of your boat.
right.
Yeah.
And it's cool, man. And that's usually another racer,
Yeah.
right? So
he didn't race this year, but he's an old school racer, yeah.
right.
racer.
So
He's usually a racer, yeah. He knows what's going on. He knows the ins and outs of the boats. Like,
well, what I
Yeah.
caught on to last year was some of these guys are walking around giving guys tips. Like, hey, man, like I've been doing this for 30 years. You want me to show you? And it's cool because it's a cool community.
it is. Actually, a few races that we were at, we had some older guys come up to us. Hey, man, that's an awesome boat. I worked on that 30 years ago,
Yeah.
that boat. And,
Right.
just to get a little history behind it and some tips and some tricks and what needed to be where and
What's up, Bubba?
What's up,
up,
boss?
what's
kiddo?
going on.
We just had Nick McGee, president of Jersey Shore Boat Racing, walk through the door. You can't see him because he's standing behind the cameras, but
He
so
said he wasn't going to
everybody's got to act natural.
act natural. Act natural.
The beer's over there.
So, talk to me a little bit about. I know you don't want to tell people what you bought and what you're doing and where you're going and yada yada yada, but talk to me a little bit about next year.
It's going to be a good time.
I know it's gonna be a good time.
That's all I'm going to say.
It's gonna be fast and loud.
That's it.
Fast.
That's all
and
we can
loud
say.
and
Maybe
We're
we'll
almost
be out
there.
there. Maybe we won't.
another 10 minutes, I'm gonna get a color out of him.
I don't know. Maybe half that 12-pack Corona over there.
Well, so last year, 358, you wound up what, fourth in points?
I don't even know where we end up.
I don't know, Prez. What we end up with?
You're holding first for a while.
We were holding first.
We were doing good for a
We
while,
started
and
to
then
suck.
oh, we tried different things, and that's
Yeah.
how you learn. You,
Yeah.
you try different things, and you take tips from other guys, and you try to reinvent your own wheel. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that's
Now we know
that's
it
kinda
doesn't
all
work.
about. Yeah, now we know what doesn't work and what does.
So in 358, you got some cool runners there. I mean, that's Indian Summer.
Indian Summer.
Summer.
He was our competitor there for a little
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, so that's Randy Rodriguez
Yes.
in Indian Summer. Gorgeous boat, by the way, if nobody's
Awesome
seen
boat.
it. Behind him was probably Spec, Assassin,
Jay, yeah.
Jay,
right? So
Assassin,
that's
Assassin.
and then probably Casper,
Casper was there.
Amy Bethanis, you guys, and come on, there's one more.
Was
Who am I
Red,
missing?
was Red at 350?
Radical Red.
Radical
Yeah.
Red, yeah.
Radical Red.
Yeah,
So
he only came out a handful of times.
Yeah.
So out of that group, I mean, you guys and Amy were green, right? But the rest of them have been racing a while. Or Randy?
Randy
Randy
is green.
Randy was his first year too.
Randy was a rookie
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
going through that fleet, there was a lot of rookies there racing at what many,
at a fast pace.
what many think is the fastest class in the Garvey racing, right? So how is that? I mean, how is that being new and racing against new people? I mean, is it tough?
It's
or
a
is
little
it a growth?
sketchy, I'll tell you that.
Is it a growth together, or is it a?
I can definitely see like the growth between the group, between the first race and the last race. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I
100%.
can see how everybody's riding styles were, 100%.
Yeah, and the day.
Yeah.
You know, there was a couple boats there, like that Casper boat is obviously pretty heavy because when it gets rough, that thing plows through it pretty good.
I actually was fortunate enough to take a ride with Amy in her boat, and that is a good riding boat.
Yeah, and
Ver-
yours
ver-
too. Yours is pretty
Oh
heavy
yeah,
too, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the heaviest in the
I
fleet.
think we
It
were
was,
the heaviest
right?
one. Yeah.
20. That was
But,
2650, and a lot of guys are weighing about 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Cadillac though when it gets rough.
Hell yeah.
That's what's cool.
Well, if you compare from the first time we took it out to the last time we took it out, yeah, it's definitely a Cadillac.
Yeah. I was laughing in Moorhead, man. I had the divers coming up to me going, I never seen guys that wouldn't get off the boat.
Captain goes down with the ship, right?
Yeah, I was going down with it.
Not all of us take it so fucking seriously. So, shooting for 2023, we got 8 or 9 on the schedule. Some badass races. We're going back to Summers Point twice, which is cool. I enjoyed Summers Point.
Summers Point's going to be a good race.
Yeah, that's a cool place. It's you know what's cool about it is it's synonymous with boating. Right, like when you think Summers Point, you think of all the bars right there on the water,
yeah.
you know, and it's boating. It's boat central, right? So it's cool to be right smack in the middle of that. We got Lake Apacong up north, which is cool. You know, then we got the Parkertown, Tuckerton Swing, which we've been doing. Berkeley Island's new.
I'm stoked about that.
You guys are particularly stoked
home
about
base
that.
for us almost.
So how home base? I mean, is it like in your backyard? I heard.
I can walk there.
So,
We could take a drunken golf cart.
We're definitely
ride
going to
there.
have an after party at my house.
no, well, you heard it here, man. Take that one to the bank, boys. So that's going to be hometown advantage. You might have to start on the outside.
Sure.
You can start on the inside if you tell everybody what boat you're bringing.
No, that ain't gonna happen.
Fuckers. 10 more
Most of
minutes.
these guys know.
Yeah, they know, but they don't know.
We all know. They just won't tell you. Remember that when you're getting your autographs next year. So you're wearing a fountain hat, which is ironic because you're asking me for stern drives and
Yeah.
for what?
For a fountain.
You know, it's a pleasure boat.
Come on, talk to me.
It's a 42-foot fountain. It's
I mean,
older
if-
boat, 95.
If we cut 2 feet off that beak, it could be a class 4 boat.
Got to keep the beak, man.
Come on.
Got to keep the beak.
There's one over there without the beak.
That's how you know when it's a fountain.
He
When it's
likes
going
having the
when it's
extra few
passing
inches.
everyone.
You know how you know it's a fountain?
How?
Because it ain't behind nothing.
There you go.
But it's cool, man. You putting together a 42?
42, yeah, really clean boat. Bought off a local guy. He redid the whole boat basically. I bought it as a whole, put motors in it. We're going to put some drives together. We're going to go bar hopping with it.
You hear that, Nate Hunt? He's coming for you. He told me before the podcast Predator was going down. So, I don't know. I'm out of fucking shit to ask you because you won't tell me what you're racing next year.
We'll be racing.
I don't know what class you're in. I don't know anything.
Here we go.
What's up, Prez?
Hello. Like that.
How come everybody else got Fireball?
You turned it down.
I didn't turn Fireball down.
I highly doubt that.
Damn
There
liars.
you go.
You're racing next
Feel
year.
left out.
You got a boat?
Did I?
I heard you were racing the safety boat. That's a new class.
Safety boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Safety boat.
I'll race Sean's pontoon boat.
Oh, that'd be a good race. You get pictures of that, Kaylee?
Whoa. I haven't had Fireball in a while. All right, while Anthony's gone, you're looking for a new rider. I heard.
I'm looking for a new rider because Anthony's gone. Yeah, it's stirred a shit pot.
Yeah. Ant left, so Matt's looking for a new rider. If anybody wants to apply at www.fightinglady.com. It'll exist. I'll make
Or
it
you
after
can
this.
email me at cheatersgonnacheat@gmail.com.
That's his main email.
Coming from the head engine tech. So speaking of engine tech, we did just get through the new rules.
Yes.
Last time me and him did this show, we didn't have rules yet. We were just kind of talking about it. So talk to me a little bit. What changed? What's new? Starting 350.
We'll starting 350 stock Garvey. Basically, the only thing we changed in that class was a cylinder head. So basically, from last year prior, you could run a small block Chevy. There's other motors you can run, but we'll just go off a small block Chevy. You can run like a truck cylinder head on there, like a 76cc chamber head. Now we're allowed double hump heads, which usually have 64 to 66cc chamber, a little bit bigger runner. That's all we really changed in that class. So they'll pick up a little more horsepower now. 358 Garvey. So obviously you're allowed to run a Vortec head in there. You're allowed to run double hump heads, but you're allowed to fully port the heads now.
Right.
You're still restricted to a flat tappet cam, but you can run solid or hydraulic, but obviously everyone's going to run solid. What else did we change in that class? Couple other little things, but basically it's the head that we're really going for, just to try to wake these things up a little bit more. But we don't want to wake them up too much in that class because we have a modified class. And basically modified, you could basically run any motor as long as you don't have a power adder. No turbos, no superchargers.
No dry sump too, right?
No dry sump. In modified, I think you're allowed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just not 358 class.
Because I see a lot of the cracker boxes and stuff like that have
they're dry
motors
sump
and-
motors.
Yeah. Because it was in my head because if there's a few of them around, I mean that's a great class to put together.
They're floating around. There's a couple out there for sale.
Yeah.
People have been sharing, seeing. Would be cool to get a couple cracker boxes out here.
Yeah. Well, and I know there's a few modifieds coming, which
Good.
is cool. I mean,
Good.
it'd be good to get some of them around, but I think you're onto something there with the 358 class.
For
'Cause
sure.
The 350 class is a great starter class, and there's a couple in between there. There's 2-barrel, there's super stock, right?
Yep.
We still have those. We're still offering those. So really, the 350 class is your beginner class, right?
I'd say so.
It's not that it's beginner skill; it's a beginner level. It's boats down at reasonable horsepower, running reasonable speeds, reasonable weight. It's something that a green driver can get in and figure out, right? Your 358 is supposed to be a bump up, right?
Yes.
And
Unless
last
you're
year,
crazy
watching
like
them
us.
run, I'm not sure there was a huge difference between 350 and 358.
Driver mod.
Right.
That's what it comes down to sometimes.
Well, and I think with adding a little power to
If you're
358,
standing from the shore looking at it, it's,
And then there's a weight difference too.
you know,
right.
So that definitely changes it up.
Well, I'm saying more or less the speeds.
Okay.
Right, the speeds were close, right? And I think really 358 should be a big step. You know, you have your super stocks, your 2-barrels, your that stuff in between, but that 358 class is the bread and butter, I think. I mean,
I'd say so.
it's watching them run. I mean, it's a good combination on the power. You know, they sound good, they run good, they're fast, and it's a motor that is not a stocker, but you could still afford to build.
For sure.
You know, and I think that's a killer class. Like for us, to get that, you have to sacrifice one or the other. Like, you know, you could put, like, we have the Pro Stocks F525s, and it's great, affordable, easy to take care of motor. Anybody can do it, but it's slow. It's hard to get a handle. It's hard to get something that just works, whereas 358 seems to work. I mean, it's in everybody's price point. It's fast enough. You know, I think that's a killer class.
you could still go to the junkyard and pull one and pull one right out of a truck.
It's so cool.
Yeah, man.
It really is.
Yeah.
You know, like I get maybe some people will listen to that and think, well, I don't want to be a junkyard, racer, but
No.
I wish I could go yank my big blocks out of a junkyard. I don't feel funny about that at all.
If you question it, watch us run. You know?
Right. They all run. And that's the other thing, too, that I think really changed from when I used to be around to being around this year. Nothing really breaks. I mean, you got guys fixing stuff throughout the day.
Maybe you weren't really there that often.
It's, guys fixing stuff through the
break.
day, but back when we used to go to the races, it was every single heat. You'd have somebody blowing blues. Just
Yeah.
every
No,
heat.
I get it.
And it's part of racing, but it sucks when you're a fan. Like, see, I've always been a part of the racing, whether I'm watching or not, I'm still a part of it. So when somebody breaks down, I don't think like, oh, the day's over. I think like, oh, shit, that sucks. Johnny's got to put a motor in his boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he's going to go pull one out of his truck in the parking lot.
Right. But as a fan, it's like as a fan being with you guys where I was never affiliated. So I was just there watching. It sucks when you start losing boats. Like as the day
does.
goes
Yeah,
on and
it
boats
does.
start dropping out. And really this season, guys showed up with good power. I mean, it was a good season.
And then when boats started breaking, other guys were out there from other boats out there helping, work on other
Yeah,
people's
I always
boats.
bring spare
Yeah.
parts, distributor, starter, battery, anything.
Yeah, we even got a welder. Jose
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Jersey Shore
Oh,
Welder.
He's there every time,
Yeah.
every race.
He came all the way down to Moorhead.
Yeah.
It's a shame he couldn't weld your wood together.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to Jose about that. We need a wood welder.
Maybe
Bring
weld
duct
with
tape next time.
Some Flex Seal.
a Flex seal. Oh god. So hey, we were talking about signatures earlier, and I wanted to bring this back up. Yeah. Me and Matt have a gift for you.
Oh, shit.
gotta go up on the
signed
wall.
this,
It's going
and,
up on
and
the
I'm
wall.
hoping that it goes up here.
You
can
pick
put it wherever you want.
You pick.
But like,
You pick.
I mean,
Does that go on the wall of fame or the wall of shame? Because it's got no bottom now.
I think it's got to go on the wall of
you
fame.
know, I'm hoping one day maybe these two signatures will be next to a way bigger boat.
That's guaranteed.
Well,
But-
we're getting there.
Like it's gonna happen.
By the end of this show, Matt's gonna have that fountain in class 4.
With the beak cut off it.
I wouldn't let you cut the beak off. I would just get a shorter tape measure.
That works.
But thank you. I appreciate that. And you guys will pick your spot when we're done here. Figure out where you want it. I do
Yeah.
love that boat.
Yeah.
So where is it now?
That's what, down in Tuckerton?
Somewhere, I think someone's putting it back together.
Maybe. I don't know.
God
It's
bless
sitting
them.
there. It's
God
sitting
bless
there.
them.
I feel like it's going to sit there for a little bit, but those guys down there, I feel like someone's going to piece that thing back together one day.
Somebody who wants to race bad enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Yeah. It's possible to put it back together.
A lot of time, effort,
Commitment.
and itchy nights, and they'll get there.
So for this season, I know you can't talk about what boat and what class, and
Yeah, you keep saying 10 minutes. I don't know.
I keep watching the timer, man. I keep bringing it back up. Eventually, I'm going to be able to edit this into where you tell me what boat you're running.
Can't tell you nothing yet.
So talk to me a little bit, schedules out, right? So something that we don't hear from too much is the racer side of things. Traveling around these races, there's a lot of boat races that have been races for a long time. There's a lot of locations that are familiar with the sport. There's a lot that are brand new. What did you think was the best site of the season?
Previous season or this season?
Previous
coming up?
season.
I mean,
I could tell you what the best one's going to be this season.
I could tell you what the best one's going to be this year too. But this previous season, I mean,
I enjoyed Summers.
Summers Point was actually a good race. It was our first one of our main first races. I mean, and our president over there. Yeah.
Summers
yeah.
Point is
no
awesome
one
for
can
the
see him.
spectators,
No one can
too.
see him, but he'll tell you there. We had a blast. We had a
Yeah.
blast. All
Summers
of us.
Point
All of
was
us.
cool.
That's why when we were kicking around putting the schedule together for this year, we were like, well, one of them we have to do twice, And in my head, I'm like, it's got to go Summers
It
Point.
sucks that
There
it's a
you
little
go.
far from us, but
Yeah,
Not
but
that far.
it's not that from you. It's not that far.
well,
Fuck
I'll tell you a story. Like with us, we go out to Lake of the Ozarks for our kickoff race,
Absolutely.
and that's a roll, right? And a lot of people ask like why they don't go. They don't take the ride. It's a long ride, and they ask like why go all the way out there? It's cornfields and
Why
it's
not?
and it is until you get there, and then it's the coolest place in the world, And really, the amount of racers that have come out of that place is staggering. I mean, it's half the super stock class has come from Lake of the Ozarks. The bracket ranks are filled with them. The super cat ranks are filled with lotto racers. So when you go new places like Summers Point, right, where it's a little further than your normal site, it's a little off the beaten path, right? You educate a whole group of new people that never
Get
seen
some
this
new
before.
fans, yeah.
Yeah, and there's, you start going into those areas that's surrounded by money. I mean, that place is,
Yeah, man.
it's a hub. I mean, 5 miles in any
It's all
direction is $1
power
million
boats out there,
homes.
man.
Yeah. And so now you're into that area where, like we were talking about earlier, where like Christian having molds where you can go buy a new one. That's that kind of area where you might just get somebody that breezed past the race on Sunday and said, I'm going to buy one of those. And that's why you run
and there
those
might be a
sites.
place to buy one now.
Well, that's kind of what happened with us, how we got into racing.
It was actually OPA that kind of inspired us.
How dare we?
So I wasn't always into boating. So I got into boating in my early 20s. And I was like, I want to go to F Cove, hang out with a boat, this and that, cam around the place all loud and stuff. And, we did that.
Blah, blah, blah.
And then, a couple years went by, and I was like, we start going to all these races, OPA races, watching all the guys out here in Point Pleasant. And then we started talking to all the racers. And I'm like, how do I get into racing? How do I do this? They're like, you got to have some sponsors, this and that. I'm like, okay, I can figure that out. And then I sat around, went on Marketplace, Craigslist, all that. I'm like looking up boats and this and that. I'm like, Garvey, what the hell is a Garvey? I'm like, one of those boats. Them fucking rednecks. I'm a redneck.
I need one of these.
And then I sent it to my buddy Pat, and I'm like, we should buy this thing and just bounce around the bay. And sat there for a little bit, and I was like, fuck it, man. It's a race boat. I'm going to go buy it. So I bought the damn thing, and this is when the group of guys were kind of trying to get back together and get racing, and I started going to the meeting and said, I'm Matt Mason. I bought a race boat. I don't know what to do. Can you lead me in a direction if it's a good one or a bad one? And basically, that's kind of where it started, because one of the OPA guys basically told me, if you want to race, you got to buy a boat.
Yep.
And that was in my price
step
range
one.
at the time. Right. And I was like, well, we'll start there.
Yeah, it's
and see where it goes.
It
a
really
stepping
is.
stone, yeah.
It really is step one, because it's like I tell people all the time. They come up and it's really that simple. Just buy a boat. It doesn't matter what kind of boat, whatever it is. We'll find a place for you to race
more
it.
than our feet wet. I'll tell you that.
You know, and it's
I'll remember that conversation ever. He was like, "You got to buy a boat."
Yeah,
And we were at the Point Pleasant race right there by the train tracks.
Yeah.
He was trying to take me away. They were throwing an Anthony Appreciation Day party for me.
Oh yeah, we had a big party for
Yeah.
him that day.
And he's like, "You want to race a boat if I buy a boat?" Fuck yeah, I want to race a boat. Come on.
that's awesome.
That's a silly question.
And eventually you'll be in offshore.
We
I know
might
better.
be. I mean, we might be. I don't know.
We'll be out there.
We're
still gonna race Garveys.
Yeah, we're still gonna race Garveys.
That's
Well, right-
never gonna.
That's
end.
like the degenerate group that we're gonna be in.
Well,
you
right
know?
before you got here, he was telling me, man, that fountain's getting numbers.
Oh, it's gone.
He was telling me. What'd you want? 421 or something? I forget what he wanted.
420.
Fucking knuckleheads.
We definitely want it to be out there, though.
So, running in 358, you're probably going to shoot for 358 next year, would be my guess. Who's your biggest competition there?
Well, if we were to run 358, we don't know what we're running yet. We have a slew of motors. So, I mean, 358 last year was our biggest competition was Randy, right?
Yeah.
Indian Summer. SSN was a little bit of a competition, but
he was there.
He was there. I think we kind of
All those guys could run pretty good. It's
they
all
run
fun,
pretty
man.
good. But
Best thing after, like, you get out of that boat, you could be first, second, third place, and you still have the biggest smile on your face.
Yeah.
yeah, it
It's
doesn't
the,
matter.
every
Whether you
time
win or you
I'll
lose.
tackle you off the boat every time into the water.
That was like our trademark.
Oh yeah.
Well, because I bring up competition because that class seemed to be a revolving door. It was like every race you thought there was a new front runner. Yeah, and it's a cool class to watch.
It's definitely a lot of fun. I'm sure it's a lot of fun to watch. Being in a boat, it's even a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh God.
The coolest thing to me is the GoPros out of your boats. You know,
yeah.
like our boats, the GoPros absorb 90% of the motion, and, you know, it just looks like a big boat running in the ocean.
You could feel the RPM through the GoPro.
Yeah. Like you watch one of your GoPros, I'm scared
screaming.
watching
You hear
it.
that motor, you're like, oh,
Screaming.
when's the rod coming out of the side of that? Where's the window at? Where's the window on the motor?
Yeah.
And they
It's
stay
awesome,
together,
man.
man. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I like my favorite thing is when you watch those GoPros and that big wall of water they pick up off the side.
man.
Of
Oh,
them,
I should have brought my tablet. I got the video of John's boat with the wall of water
Yeah,
over in Moorhead.
it's wild, dude.
It's wild.
That was a tough one.
The GoPro footage is like, it still doesn't do it justice
No,
from being in the seat, but
and there's so many people that were beating John up from that, and really like watch the video yourself and count the seconds.
no, when you watch the video yourself, you can't beat nobody up for anything.
Well, count the seconds between the time he knew what was going on in front of him and he hit Shanky's boat. It was like 1.5 seconds.
You can't react.
it's hard.
You can't react to that. You can't react to that.
No,
Impossible.
Yeah, it's just, you know what's cool about it was I was figuring you guys were coming down there and you were just going to put the boats in the water and go fuck around and whatever. It's not.
That's what we thought too.
It wasn't for points. It wasn't, you know. And
Oh, we fucked around. We found out.
We fucked around and then we found out.
it was just cool. The way the course was set up was a square. So it was a lot of just straight away. And I was impressed with the amount of people that were running them. Like just with those straightaways, just letting them eat, getting them out
Yeah,
off their
man.
tails. There's a video of Art like 6 feet in the air in that skiff there.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I'm like, dude, I thought this
Sure,
was.
more than one of those.
I thought you guys were just gonna do like a show, like just show them like who you are, and you know. And I'm like, man, they're running them today. You know, it's cool. It's to me, it's different because it's the RPM and the way they wind up is different. I mean, you guys sound more like Wall Stadium letting loose.
Oh, yeah.
than-
I mean, that's kind of the best way to put it.
it's awesome. You know, but on the water,
Yeah, it's
I mean,
exciting the whole time. It's not just well, here's a straightaway. No, it's still exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. And so explain to me a little bit, like, because so for those of you that don't know, for this year, we'll have live stream at all the events. So you can actually watch these now. I mean, we had it towards the end of last year, but now I'll only miss 2 of your races, and we're trying to get them covered now to get a live stream crew there. Take care of you guys. But people can actually watch these races. So when they're watching these races, explain a little bit through the day as far as heats. Like how does a race day go for you guys?
A race day is all over the place for myself. Even Matt himself.
Well, we get there early.
We get there early.
Very early.
We
set
start
everything up.
checking people, setting things up. It's all over the place. It really is.
Checking boats over, safety, tech.
Dumping the boat in the water.
Trying to get the boats in the water is kind of not as fast as you can, but that's the big thing.
Yeah, well,
get the boats checked over. Get checked in. Get your vitals checked out. Make sure everything's good to go. Sign in. Get your wristbands and get in the water. And,
more or less, I was talking about like the structure of your race. So, like for us, we race once a day. You guys are running what, 3 times a day?
3, sometimes even 4.
Right.
I mean, it depends on if we want to do a drag race at the end, or everybody from every class who was the winner that day wants to run.
Yeah, at the end of the day, after all the races are done,
We do a little free for all.
yeah, free for all. Go out there, a little drag race.
Right.
Run 2-barrel boats versus
It's mostly
358
fun.
boats.
It's just for fun,
350
but-
stock boats
Right.
against whatever, and
So through the course of a day, the difference between offshore and Garveys or skiffs is they run in heats. So at the beginning of the day, you guys, what do you pull for lanes of the first race?
yes,
Yeah. So you pull for lanes, you get your first set of heats in, right? And then from there, who lines up inside to outside, winner to loser? Or is it loser to winner?
Well, we draw straws.
All the way through?
Shit, I'm drawing a blank. Thank you, Corona.
Free plug.
We usually draw straws every heat, and we see who runs first lane through 4th lane, or however many boats are
Right.
with us, yeah.
So it's usually different. It's not like you're lining up
Yeah,
against
it's
the
not
same
always
guy
the
every
same,
time.
no.
Or girl, Amy. And so you got like 4 different chances to kind of go out there and have your race, right?
But it doesn't matter if you're in the first lane or the 4th lane. It depends on how big your balls are that day, and who wants to run.
Yeah. And so through the day, you accrue points. So at the end of the day, is it a tally of your total points makes you the winner?
Yeah.
Right? And then it's kind of a cool structure. Like in offshore, we have situations where we can put between 15 to 20 boats into turn 1. Now, that's cool, and it's great for fans to watch. But the downside of it as a competitor is if you're lane 8 or wider of 15, you're screwed.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're not getting in there. I mean, you're just hoping guys break. You're hoping something opens up for you,
Somebody
but
messes up a big time.
it's
yeah.
completely out of your control
Yeah.
at that point, right? Whereas you guys, every time you hit the water, you got a fresh start. And to me, that was the biggest factor for me was I race 2-3 years without a solid battle. Like I raced in Morehead City for the first time and since 2019, and there we had 2 days of racing, and both days we were 30 to 40 seconds ahead of second place. I got out of the boat feeling like we went for a boat ride. Like I want a battle. I want,
Yeah,
you know,
want
absolutely.
something that gets your blood pumping.
I'm not gonna wait.
You want to feel it.
Yeah,
you
I
wanna
mean,
feel
I'm-
like you're racing.
I'm
Don't
not
go
going
for
to
a
wait
sunny
for you. My motto, anybody who followed 513, I mean, it's crush, kill, destroy. It's demoralization. I want to come out, and I don't want you thinking you can come fuck with me ever again.
Yeah.
And that's
But
the
you
way
wanna
we
feel like
run.
you're racing at the end of the
I'm not
day.
going to wait. I'm not going to sandbag, but I want somebody to push as hard as me, right? And
Yes, I agree.
I watch you guys run, and you have that. That's not a problem for this club.
I think that the guys that are in this club, I mean, do they want to win? Yeah, of course they want to win. But at the end of the day, if they don't win, it's not a problem. But they all seem to have the same problem we all have, which is the need for speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put that right foot down, 100%.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is. I mean,
yeah.
I say it all the time, and my guys are tired of hearing me say it. But like, if you haven't come out and watched one of these races, you have to, because it's not what you're used to. It's not, for me. Offshore watered everything down for me, in that I've seen it so much that it's hard to get me excited again. It's like even when I get to my races, it's like walking through your front door at home.
They make a pill to get you excited again.
Those are fun.
But it's like I equate it to, there's some races where I've been going to those races since 04, 05, so it's like when we get there, I know I know all the people there. I know the business owners. I know the guy that checks you in at the front desk. He's been doing it for 10 years. It's, I know all these people. It literally feels like you put the key in a lock at your house and walk through the front door. I show up to your events, and it feels like I'm at an event because
That's
it's
how
not.
it felt for us at Moorhead.
It's a little backwards.
I think that's how it felt for us at Moorhead. When we walked in, we said we were all at the bar. I mean, obviously it was too early for anybody to service, but we were all at the bar, and we were like, "This is like feels like a serious event.
Yeah.
This is like we made it. We're here."
And for me, it's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Where like I'm so used to what I do that when I get around you guys, that's when I start having fun because
And you're
it's
the big
different.
guy.
Well, it's different. It's different. It's listen.
different.
That's the thing too. I've been just recently had a conversation with Dustin Grzybowski over this, and it's not my knowledge and experience and time and all this means nothing in your world because it doesn't translate at all. It doesn't. Nothing I know has helped me in your world.
Garvey's would do that to you.
It's completely different. And it's different even in mentality where, like, if I show up to a race, most of my questions are how can I help them, right? And that's fine. That's kind of the way it's supposed to be, But when I get to your races, I'm there to support you guys, and all I get is you guys coming up to me asking how you can help me. How can we help you?
Yeah,
How
bro.
can we and it's just such a different it's a totally
different crowd.
It's rewired in that I think and what really bothered me about all this in the beginning was Steve-O. Steve-O called me and said there's a bunch of these guys that just have race boats and they want to race and they have nowhere to race. And like that bothers me. Like people don't I don't like that thought. I don't like the thought that somewhere in this country there's somebody with a boat dying to go race it,
And they
they
don't know
can't.
where to go.
There's nowhere to go. And like to me, it's like that. I don't ever
Come
want that
come
world to exist.
JSBR. We'll take care of you.
Well, and that's kind of from my end. From like I've had that question a bunch too. Like, why are we doing this? And from my end, you can look at this a million different ways from Sunday, but the obvious facts are, this is a great stepping stone to the rest of the
I'll
sport.
tell you why we do
Absolutely.
it. We like boating and we like speed, and we put them together.
Right. But for me, like with the involvement in JSBR, is that this is something that you can actually do. Offshore is getting so crazy to buy. If you wanted to compete in one of the marketed, aspects of offshore, you're spending $1 million. Like if you want to be in a supercat, if you want to be,
And you got to have the sponsors.
yeah, and I don't mean and $1 million is literally just a figure of speech. Like that, it's probably more like 2 million by the time you're done with props and motors and trucks and trailers and crew and, like for this is the perfect avenue to make sure there's going to be boat racing across the field because there will always be the next Matt Mason and Anthony Gandolfo. You know what I mean? There will always be.
Oh yeah.
This will just be a revolving door. These boats have been racing for 50 years, 60 years, 100 years, whatever the hell.
gonna-
It's going to be racing after we're done.
And most of them are the same boats from 30, 40 years ago. It's just a revolving door.
Oh, that's the lady right there.
Yeah. And so to me, there's longevity in this. There's real interest in this. It's a cost-effective way to go have the same fun we're having in the offshore boats, but you can do it on a fraction of the money. And you can come down here and sign up. What's our reg this year? 7? So reg this year is like $700.
It's cheap to go racing.
It's nothing
cheap
to go race. I mean, you can't rent a golf cart track or a go-kart track for a day for
Rented
that.
a
I mean,
Harley
it's
for a week for $1,300. Shit.
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't translate. And the amount of fun you're having is no different than any one of those boats on a wall. It's no different.
No.
You know?
No. It might even. I mean, besides that photo.
Yeah,
it
that
might
one was a little
It
fucked
might
up.
be just as exhilarating, if not more. I mean,
I think that just hurts more.
you know what? I get that gut feeling when I look at that photo.
People look at that one.
When that lands.
I laugh when people come in here. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it at home. But when people come in and catch that photo, they always look at it like, huh?
It's up and sideways.
It's 20 feet in the air and completely sideways.
That's gonna hurt when that comes.
And
down.
then they're like, man, you're nuts. And I'm like, no, that wasn't even me. That was my 65-year-old father. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fucked up. The world we're in, we're all cut from the same cloth. We're all the same people.
For sure.
It's all of us want to go do dumb shit like that.
Yeah. Sign me up.
It's a blast, man.
So talk to me a little bit.
You're not getting our boat out of us.
Come on. They caught that one coming. That was the setup. They caught it
You're
coming.
not getting it out of us. It's not happening.
All right, well then, what is your standardized fighting lady tow vehicle?
Standardized. It might be different this year.
It's whatever.
Getting rid of the Suburban,
I still got that truck.
Tahoe, whatever it is, Suburban, right?
something
We're gonna
Denali.
tow with
Denali, it's
we
close
got-
enough.
we
Old
got
girl.
we had tow with the 3500.
Yeah, one of them.
One of them. One of them. Oh yeah,
Whichever
there's two
one
of 'em.
starts up that day.
There's two of 'em. It'll be warm. It should be fine. Oh,
And
God.
you're pacing for us, right? As long as you can get some drives. Anybody with a Imco SCX that wants to sell it, I got a buyer for you right here, 42 Fountain. You're welcome.
We're hoping that we're pacing at the Point Pleasant race. That's the
We'll be out
goal.
there.
That's the goal. It's actually been a really long time goal.
Is it?
That's why he's
It'll be
smiling.
going.
That's why he's smiling.
It'll be
over there,
going.
Yeah. It's
Why,
a
you always
long
wanted to
time.
be a pace boat?
Why not, man? It's
Why not?
awesome.
You could be a
Come
pace boat,
on.
brother.
Come on.
I'd have let you be the pace boat with the fighting lady, man.
Oh God.
I don't know. I don't
It might be a
know.
little rough
Through
out
the
there at
inlet.
Point Pleasant.
I don't know if my flag guy would be too happy about it, but it'd be kind of cool.
You stuck me on what?
Oh shit. Well, what do you guys got for me? Come on, tell me something.
I can't tell you anything without telling you anything.
This is the first Offshore Live. I think I'm going to call this the handicap edition.
This is the handicapped edition.
I got to make a show out of you not telling me what boat you got.
We are slightly retarded.
Those
We're
guys.
retarded.
Most of the guys know. They know.
They know.
We're
but
getting
they don't
closer.
know.
10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. Every 10 minutes.
This is how Mr. Beast gets all his subscribers.
Just leave it
Just wait till the end, and then Matt's going to tell you.
We got to pull them in somehow, right? Can't tell them right off the bat.
There might be a boat. I don't know.
There's gonna be a boat, or there
I'm
might
gonna
not
try
be.
to race the fountain with the Garveys. Fuck it.
What
Need
class
some
do we
little
fall
wheels.
in on that? What class do we fall in
The
on that one?
props will be just blowing mud everywhere.
Jeez. Do we have enough water for that thing over there at Parkertown?
Not even close.
God.
Well, that's all I got for you, is unless you can come up with something.
That's what I got, man. That's it.
I think I'm
I broke
good.
the seal. I got to piss again.
Go piss.
Like a little
It's the
girl.
magic of editing,
That's
brother.
It is. Yeah, I know, right?
Every time you leave, we talk shit.
Hey, you know what? Talk some shit.
I think we need a guest host because I got to pee too.
I think
I've
everyone's
been
got to
waiting.
take a break.
If there's an owner of a silver F-150 in the parking lot, we just peed on your tires. All right, so you guys, it's your turn. I'm out of shit to talk about because you won't talk about your new boat.
We're not talking about it.
What new boat?
There's no new boat.
Damn.
There's no new boat. Could you really? I was whispering. Echo, echo, echo.
So, talk to me about JSBR. I been around it for a year now. Well, I've been around it since the beginning, but for me, it's something a lot more than, than I'm sure you guys see it as. So, talk to me about JSBR. What's that been to the local boat racing scene?
I mean, to the local boat racing scene, it's from my perspective, it's been great. I mean, so far we've got a lot of fans. I mean, I never thought that
I think a lot is an understatement.
me and Matt would have fans.
I think a lot is an understatement.
It definitely is an understatement. I mean, the way it's blowing up on Facebook and just being there to see the crowd, to see the people out there. I mean, you look back and you see 200 plus people out there watching you. You're like,
More than that.
it's definitely more than that.
That first
That
Parker
was
Town,
200 people is an understatement
Yeah,
too.
the whole road
But,
was
like,
lined up.
dude, Summers Point was cool. When we went to Summers Point, I remember thinking, like, all right, at least we had a good showing here,
yeah.
Right from there, we went to Parker Town. And I was flying a drone there, doing stuff, and, you get so busy, you don't even take 2 seconds to look around, And I was actually flying the drone back, and the drone was, like, aiming shore, flying back to me.
Seeing all the crowd.
And I'm looking at the screen going, where the fuck is this thing going? Like, I'm thinking in my head, like, what's it, flying into a fair? And, like, I look around, and I'm like, holy shit. There was
those
trucks.
are our fans.
There was trucks. Our Parker Town event happens, what do you think, probably 3 miles off Route 9? There was trucks
something
halfway
like
up that
but
road.
Yeah, something like that,
Something
yeah.
like
You know, for a mile and a half, there was trucks. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the amount of people, man. That was nuts. And then that just continued. That wasn't like a one-off thing. That was every race.
No.
Right down to Parkertown.
Even Parkertown.
I mean, Tuckerton. Tuckerton. Tuckerton
Parkertown,
jumped right
our
off,
Tuckerton
too.
event, every event that we've had so far. I mean, golf clap to our supporters.
Yeah.
You know, every event has been just mind blowing. Like I said before, to have fans, like, you know, it's me and this fucking guy right here. Like,
Yeah.
we're
We
just
definitely gotta like. Spreading the word is getting better, but like even like I grew up in Howell, you didn't know nothing about Garvey's.
Right.
You
and we weren't that far from the shore living in Howell either. Like,
and then I moved down to Bayville about 8 years ago, and then you kind of see these boats and hear things about them that I didn't even know about them. And a lot of people north of, let's just say, Bayville, Toms River area don't know about this racing. And I
but
feel
there's
like
boats hidden everywhere.
if they heard about it, they would definitely be in for a great time.
Right.
It's awesome.
I think, too, something I got last year was I had a couple people come up to me and go, I've always seen these things, but never with the cages. And it kind of hit me like probably a lot of people are probably used to seeing a skiff, but not a caged race skiff.
Which
you
is so
know,
funny
like-
because we only have like one skiff or two skiffs in our group. It's mostly all Garveys.
Yeah.
It's mostly all Garveys.
Yeah. But if you were to go somewhere else, Garveys
Yeah.
are only Jersey, right?
It's a Jersey thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're not going to
Yeah.
find that anywhere else. I mean,
Like skiffs are all over Florida and
Yeah,
stuff.
and-
They're
and
not
even
really
then-
caged
Or
down.
they're
there,
not
you know?
caged. They're not unless you're going to a race event.
Yeah.
You're just seeing a skiff, which if you're just looking at it, it just looks like a little boat. You know what I mean? Like
Boat with a
it's-
cage. Yeah.
you'd never know what that was capable of. Like
Until one comes out with
Sure.
fucking open headers.
it changes the game a little bit. We'll see. I got something for him though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you do.
I got something for him.
So let's turn the tables here real quick.
All right, watch this. It's white.
Oh, it's white. Oh, you're gonna tell us the color it is, yeah?
It's white.
It's
a
white.
skiff.
It's a skiff.
It'll
Okay.
be under 315.
Okay.
Your turn.
It's not happening, bud.
Fuckers, man.
So you've got one, is what you're saying.
I got one on the way.
On the way? Oh,
got
it's
one
being
on the way.
made.
There's a
Well, it sounds like it's being made.
few obligations ahead of mine. Yeah,
Okay.
we're doing a brand new one, doing a battle wagon.
Nice.
That's the way
Awesome.
to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Might as
And,
well be brand new.
really what it boiled down to was I don't know enough to go look at older ones and know if it's a good one, a bad one. If,
Yeah, but you're still gonna have to rig it.
sure, but you know what? Like if you sent me to go look at like a 30 Panther or a,
You would
like
know
a
exactly what you're looking
42
at. You're
Fountain,
like,
I know what
yeah.
I'm looking at. With this, I don't know what I'm looking at. I went to look at a few. They all look the same to me. Like I don't understand them enough, you know. So I was like, you know, if I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna start fresh, not with somebody else's shit in it,
Hand-me-downs, yeah.
or you know.
Yeah.
And so I started working with Christian on it, and me and him do a lot of stuff back and forth. And so he's got a few obligations ahead of him. He's
Of course,
getting a few offshore boats out, a few guys that were in line before me. And really, for this year, I'd like to remain set into JSBR as administration
Okay.
and give it a year of a little more of my
Well, I can't
time,
wait for that year, huh?
media-wise, and you know, and then I'll get the
Is
boat
it a
out.
Garvey or a
Cool.
skiff?
Skiff.
Oh, it's a skiff.
Skiff,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what I thought you were more leaning towards.
Yeah, the Garveys don't speak to me, man. They scare the
No.
shit out of me.
Oh
Yeah, I don't like them, man.
my god.
I would get in one and just try it again. I never drove one. I rode in one, you know, but the skiffs are my thing. I mean, the skiff.
Well, if I ever put one together,
if
Yeah.
You-
if
you
yeah.
could drive it.
got you. Thanks.
I'll be your co-pilot.
If we got the if.
If we got it.
So I really think that the skiffs are more in line with what I know, and I really think that if we can drive that boat count up, it'll gain notoriety for the club.
100%. 100%.
And what I mean by that, for people listening that are going, "What a dickhead! He just slighted all the Garveys." That's not what I mean. What I
No,
mean
not at
is
all.
you have to look at what garners the national attention. And I do the same thing in my own sport. I'm a bracket class racer through and through. If you look around this place, my favorite boat in the world is a 40 Fountain, but every boat I ever raced was in a P class, in a bracketed class, and you know, with the underdogs.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and that's my people. That's my world. That's the fighting I like to do. That's the racing I like to do. And when I looked into racing with you guys with Offshore, I'm so busy in every which way from Sunday that I couldn't ever, even if I had a boat, I could never. I have a boat. I mean, my old man and my brother are racing mine. I don't have the time. With this, I can do this. I can take care of a small block, and
Yeah, man.
I mean,
I can keep boat running, and
it's easy, but it's not easy.
it's
a lot of dedicated time. I'll tell you that.
harder, soft, easier, difficult. That shit is to me. I'm used to that. That's normal. For me, it's just time. It's like around the races. If I just had to delegate at OPA, I could race, but I don't. I have to actually physically man my positions, and it kind of put me in a spot where racing's off the table for the foreseeable future. If I ever get to a point with OPA where I can replace me at a few positions, then I would think about it. But for now, if I build a skiff, it's something I can roll in and out of my garage at home. It's something I can just tinker with and keep together. And, and to me, I really, really believe that this isn't a lesser form of racing.
It really isn't.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It is not.
And you could say it is. You could have your opinions, whatever you have at home. But the truth is you're wrong. If you did it, you'd see.
We're hitting almost the same speeds.
Speed is all irrelevant. So if you look, I actually don't have. I do. See that picture up there in the middle with the yellow boat?
Knucklehead or the one above it?
Above it.
Okay.
There's a yellow boat there in the top.
Yeah.
That was Papa Duke's. That was my green boat before I bought it, right? So that was my first boat. I've raced every boat on that wall. So it's, to me, the most fun is in that small, tiny little boat up top.
Cool.
That's,
I like it.
my whole life, that's all I
feel
ever
like
did.
that's more when you're one with the water.
I
feel
like
more of it.
I like
it's
the
more
people.
exhilarating.
I like the mentality of the racer at that level.
That's how it is with racing Garveys and skiffs.
100%. And that's why it speaks
They're
to
all
me.
It's a big family there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the skiff, it reminded me a lot of that boat. Like we were notorious. We used our rub rail as a strake. We turned on a rub rail, and that was, when I got in a skiff with Nick for the first time, I'm like, oh, I know how to do this. This is my old green boat. It's exactly how I ran that boat. Lay it up on its side and hold it down. Hope it makes it.
Hope it makes it. Yeah.
And that was what I did for 10 years. So to me, the skiff just made a lot more sense. And I like the idea of being under the cage. What's up, Ant? Need some? Oh, what up, dude?
Rob.
We're still in the middle of our podcast.
But you're good. But so that's why I went skiff. I was thinking Garvey. I got a call from Steve Adams when he was kicking around putting his together, and I was like, man, I'd like to go race. Like, there's a guaranteed boat count with the Garvey. With the skiff, it's like, I don't know who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. So I was kicking it around, but I like feeling like I'm in a boat, not on a boat. That's what scares
This
me.
feels like you're in a boat. 100%.
I don't know,
No,
man.
you don't feel like you're in a boat. You don't even know what you're in.
Okay, all right.
You're on plywood.
I retract my thing. It's plywood with two seats and a steering wheel, and a motor.
It feels like that boat's taking you for a ride.
It
like I
could
said,
be a handful.
The few times that I drove it, every time I drove it, I actually did feel like he took his hand and my knee and smashed it to the wood and was like, hit it. I was like,
Yep.
okay.
Bury that right foot down that throttle.
And that boat was taking
and then your left
me
foot,
for
put
a
that plate
ride.
down and turn that wheel.
Right.
And you feel them G's, man. It's
Boat was taking me
it's
for a
amazing.
ride.
So when you're setting your plates, when you're setting the throw and the pedal, right? That's obviously adjustable.
It's all
Everything's
adjustable.
adjustable, yeah.
So are you setting the plate to where you generally use it, or are you leaving more in that throw in case you need it?
There's a lot in the throw.
So it is a feel thing. It's
It
not
depends
like
on the
feel
boat.
thing.
It depends on the
Your
boat.
foot is on that pedal the whole time, and you're feeling the water.
right.
And then when you come into that turn, you roll into that plate, and you make that turn. And as soon as you come to that turn, you roll off
And
that
the
plate.
support in the seat is very important.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
when you throw that pedal,
Oh, it pulls.
you
Well,
gotta
the
push
last
on
seats we
that.
had in that boat, I got thrown out of the seat. I landed on his lap.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was trying to win the race. I didn't win it. The first thing I went for was the throttle.
Right.
I didn't even go for the steering wheel. I went right for the throttle.
Right.
Yeah.
And I worried about the steering wheel a couple seconds later. And then we put new seats in the boat, bolstered, and it
helped
made
a
a
lot.
world of a difference.
Yeah.
So definitely seats
you
are
weren't getting
something.
thrown around so much.
I
Yeah.
didn't land on you.
Yeah. It's all right. I like it when you're on me. God.
Shit. I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's definitely It's a big family sport, man.
I got a good one for you. So this year we're putting together Berkeley, and you guys were pretty instrumental in that, in at least getting the idea to inception, right? So we went down there and met with them, and the township there is kick-ass. The mayor there is awesome. The manager there is awesome. They're all great people.
Are you talking about the mayor of Bayville, Bill?
No, not Bayville Bill.
No.
He's really not the mayor of Bayville?
One day he will be. Legit.
So we went there, and they were talking to us, and they're like, listen, what are you looking to do? Like, what do you, so we explained it all, what the race was and all this stuff. I said, but Saturday, I said, I'd like to do, like, some radar runs, some drag races, some, is that cool? And the guy's like real drag races with boats? I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm like, all right.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
So there's some cool
Just
stuff.
make sure the Coast Guard doesn't bother us.
For this
Yeah, we're
year,
cool.
we do a couple sets of heats and then an intermission, pull off the intermission into the second sets of heats. So for this year, we're going to do some drag races, some top speed runs, stuff like that in the intermission, and kind of let you guys go fuck some shit up.
Yeah, man.
Which should be fun.
I mean, we're all about having a good time.
Not this group.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's talk to them in Moorhead. Ask them if we're about having a good time. Even Sam behind the computer, you can't see her. She's even giggling over there.
Moorhead was a blast, man. I just, what was cool about Moorhead for me was it was the first time my guys got to actually see it. You know what I mean?
They
like
think we're fucking nuts.
I love well, yeah. And what's cool is they're always walking around them, like in the pits in Point Pleasant.
Oh, yeah.
It's one thing to walk around one. It's another thing to see
something
it.
different. It's
Yeah.
it's different from what you guys is used to. Yeah.
Well,
Even Reggie Fountain was there, and he looked at these Garveys. We're like, what the hell are these things,
Yeah.
man?
Reggie goes, man, aren't those the boats that raced with the Allisons? You know? Like, yeah, Reg, that was a while ago.
That was a long time ago.
But I just think it's cool because they're getting to understand it now, which is cool because it's always been me just trying to sell this to them. You know what I mean? Like I promise.
Once they seen it firsthand, you didn't need to sell nothing.
And then they saw it, and
Yeah.
it was like, oh, this is awesome.
yeah.
We want it everywhere. I mean, I got calls immediately the next day from Moorhead. They wanted you back. Englewood wanted you there. And so there's race sites up and down the East Coast that'll have you now. Which is cool. And,
yeah.
Another cool thing is when we fire them up in the pits, and people are like, well, you can't run these things in the pits. Yeah, we can run them for a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not hooked up to a drive,
yeah.
No
Well,
raw water pump or nothing.
You
know?
guys all came up to me. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Let them eat, dude.
Let 'em eat.
Let them eat. It's awesome.
Give them a couple blaps at the throttle, bring some people in, they look at them, check
It's
them
cool.
out.
Yeah, they
And
hear,
it wakes
the
it up.
noise.
It wakes it up, and to me, the one thing I've always hated is some of the sites we go to, you pull in and it's like a parking lot full of pickup trucks. You know what I mean? Like it's all just trucks and shit everywhere, and there's a couple boats just somewhere in the mix, When you pull up to this, you're at a race. There's guys running shit on the trailer. There's guys trying to fix stuff in the water. I mean, it's just so cool.
Yeah, man.
It feels like mayhem, which is...
it is.
That's what I like, man.
But it's great.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone has a big smile on their face.
Yeah, and
everyone's helping everyone.
that's what's cool. It's the same to me. Like when I came from offshore to this, I was hoping that would still exist,
Yeah.
And I tried preaching that from the beginning, and then quickly realized you don't have to. I mean, it's all there. I mean,
No, it speaks for itself.
And without the community, I don't know that anybody would really still be there.
Even last year, like some guys in the 358 class, they needed some motor parts, this and that, had stuff laying around. And these guys are my competition, and I'm giving them parts to get back out there because I want someone to race,
Well, if you ain't got
Even
nobody
if
to
they
race,
beat
who
me
you
or I
racing?
beat them, let's get out there. Let's get you out there racing, man.
Well, and it's important because with this, it's actually a depreciation of knowledge. Like there's never been like a book on this. Like you can't you could
You
probably,
can't pick up a book from Amazon.com and
No.
and just be like, oh, okay, I'm in a Garvey race now.
No, and with
No.
offshore you
Okay.
kind of can. Like you can kind of go back to see what other
Well, you
people
guys have
did.
been doing it for
or-
a real. I mean, not that we haven't been doing it for a long time. We haven't been doing it for a long time.
I think if I had to guess, I think Garveys have been around longer than offshore.
It's been around since bootlegging, man.
If we get into the story of where Garvey had
I'm
started
I'm
from,
quite sure they were.
Oh, yeah.
You have to remember the beginnings of offshore were prior to the cigarette days, prior to the Donzi days, prior to like Arnow and all those guys. They were racing Bertrams.
I think we were clamming boats.
Yeah, but they actually resemble the boats you still race today.
Yeah.
They look like them without the headers, yeah.
See, Offshore, up until like 68, looked like fishing boats. It was Bertram's without the decks.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and then Don Arnow came along and created Donzi and Cigarette and Formula and all this, you know, and he invented what you see today. You guys had Garvey racing prior to us having legitimate boat racing.
It was clammers, man, trying to get back to shore as fast as they can,
Yes.
racing to get back to shore.
Yeah.
I mean, the same way any racing starts.
Anything, man.
A couple guys in a six-pack.
Yeah, that's it. It's a little motivation, that's it.
You can
It's
have
just-
two guys out there on two different John boats at 9.9s and race each other and have a blast.
It's just cool to me because it's one of those sports where, like, we all have that, we all have that kind of community where it's, like, even in offshore, I've won championships with other guys' drives on the back of the boat, or, you know, I mean, that's happened, you know, but with you guys, it's bigger than that, and it's even the handoff of knowledge. Like, there's some of these cats that are rolling around the pits, they're 80, 85 years old,
Yeah, we try to pick their brains.
and they've been doing this shit since they're 20.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
You
talked
know-
to some older guys.
And it's like when that knowledge goes away, it's not going to
Be the
feed
same.
up.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's important that this is
It
happening
gets
when it's
handed
happening.
down.
Yeah.
And it's
You
not
know?
written down.
It's not
Right.
written. It's all up in the noggin.
Yeah, I mean,
You
like
know?
with offshore, you can pull schematics on any of these boats. You know, they like you if you wanted to build my boat tomorrow, I'm sure you could figure out how to do that. It's not hard. You know, not like a Garvey is hard, but the difference is it's to build a good one, the guys that built good ones are far and few in between anymore.
Well, for instance, the one guy at one of our races was like, "Oh, the top of your fin there, it's got to be 78 inches." I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
well,
they know.
couldn't fucking Google that.
Right.
Couldn't Google that.
What's that rule book thing?
Nah, just dimensions
those
to make the
dimensions
boat work.
from the fin
Right.
to the back of the prop there, 78 inches. I'm like, "Oh, okay." Didn't know that.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It really is. And there's some cool stuff going on, too, where I'm pretty good buddies with Lindsey Peary, who was pretty involved with the Bender molds back in the day.
Okay.
And he's good buddies with Greg Jones, who is Taylor Barr's crew chief, right? Who the two of them are, like, they used to race against each other 50 years ago, you know? And it's just cool, like, with me getting in and Taylor getting in, and then, like, Lindsey's going to wind up being my crew chief, and Greg will wind up being his crew
Sweet.
chief. And they used to race against each other. It's just cool. It's a
Yeah,
cool
man.
community. It
Just
really
remember
is.
who your paint guy is. Ask Taylor.
Paint guy.
Yeah, just ask Taylor.
But so, what else you guys got for me?
I don't got a
Except
boat.
for more
I don't got a
Coronas.
boat.
We
so.
ain't got a boat. We're gonna be
We're going
racing. But we ain't got a
backwards
boat.
Beginning of the podcast, we knew they had a boat. Now they're saying they don't have a boat.
I don't have a boat.
Our boat sunk.
We sunk in Moorhead. Was it more or was it less? I don't know.
We got a couple motors. That's about it.
Well, boys, if you got something for me for next year, throw it at me.
Yeah,
Next year's going to be interesting and a lot of fun.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, we got something in store, but we can't talk about it.
So I'll just put it in 350 interesting for now.
Sure.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
35i.
Yeah.
350 something.
350
S.
something. That's all I can give you for now. We want it to be a surprise for everybody.
There's a boat. There is a boat. Most of the guys know the boat. Still not going to say a name.
They fucking know.
But it's going to get a new name.
Yeah. Beer guy, you're fucking slack. You should have got more beer.
We got more beer.
I was in the middle of a fucking podcast.
We have two beer guys now.
Yeah, we got two beer guys now.
This is the first offshore
And
live
there's
with
a-
two
you know what?
bartenders.
We're not that far from a bar. Well, he responded. We are going to the bar.
You going up to Beacon after this?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah?
fucking hungry. I'm not being.
I'd be up with you guys, but I got another hour home.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's a good time, though. Beacon
Nah.
70 if you're in the area.
He's coming to Beacon 70.
What?
Coming to Beacon 70.
A lot better.
I wish these mics would pick up the room. I need to hang two from the ceiling back there.
So you just grab them.
You have to be like right on this thing in order for it to pick up your voice.
I don't want to incriminate nobody.
He goes, I don't want to incriminate nobody.
There it goes.
For those of you at home, Sam just put her mic. I wish I could point a fucking camera.
Beer dude, what's up with my beer?
Oh God.
What, Ant steal my beer?
Cool.
We're empty?
No,
Damn,
I
we're
only- I
officially
should've-
out of beer on
I should've
Offshore
brought
20.
2 12 packs.
And at a fireball.
Yeah, I drank the last of the Fireball too.
Damn.
Girls
Eh.
Light.
Well, unless these boys got more for me, I'm out of topics.
I ain't got nothing for you. I don't know if Matt's got anything for you.
No, I
but
think that's it,
I
man.
think
I
we
mean,
touched base on a lot of stuff, and
we're definitely excited about 2023.
yeah,
We'll be out there to help
100%.
anyone, especially with engines. Need some stuff done. These guys give me a ring.
Well, speaking of just real quick with engines, also for anybody running these boats here in JSBR, if you need parts, if you need anything, there's a bunch of us that'll help you. All of us will sell you anything it costs. If I can't get it, I know people that can. Reach out. Season's coming quick. I know it seems like
a lot
it's-
of these guys have stuff on hand that they're not using too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I know the season looks like it's months away, but it'll be here before you know it.
It's coming fast.
Blink of an eye.
Yeah,
Blink
yeah.
of an eye.
So Matt Mason, Anthony Gandolfo. Anything else?
I think that's it, man. It's been a
That's
blast.
it, yeah.
Riding off
Thanks
in
for
summer.
having us, man. It's been
Yeah,
a
man.
This is
pleasure.
a good time.
I promise I'll have you back when you're ready to tell me what boat you're racing.
Once
We'll be
the
back very
season
soon.
starts,
All right,
we'll,
sounds good.
we'll talk about
How
the boat we're
about
racing.
after the first race? We'll be back.
All right, sounds good to me. What's
Yeah.
that, June?
June, was it? Fourth?
Fourth?
Something? Fourth?
So are we going to be back on
Somewhere
June
around.
5th?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll pencil you in for the 6th.
We're here.
Mark it on your calendar.
Sounds good. Everybody, Offshore Live 20. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
guys.